most people. So many of you may have heard about crisis mappers, the HOT team, the Humanitarian Open Street map team, etc. Now, we have taken a different approach to this. We have given people, citizens, a mission within our mission. So basically, we ask direct help by tasking people. What you see here is one of our applications. This relates to the floods in Bangkok last year. This is geotagging. Omar spoke about that. Actually, this is probably the most compatible feature or existing today with the ad ignorance idea. Basically, what happens here is that in an urban area like Bangkok, it's very difficult to give values to the flood. What you see behind me is Bangkok, a portion of Bangkok downtown, and what you see in red is the flood extent. And basically raises the question, so what? Everything is red. Well, basically what you see there is a picture from a citizen, an unknown person, who geotagged this picture and is giving us a visual, real time, of what is happening right there. And we can place it on the map because his camera is geotagged. So the moment he uses his iPhone or Android phone and clicks on that picture through his app is going to our servers in Geneva. And from that to the map, and from the map to the operatives of the Red Cross in the field. So basically they can see without moving, without going there. Another example, during the conflict in Libya, we couldn't go there, and our problem was what was happening in terms of impact of that conflict on civilian infrastructures. Here you see a civilian infrastructure behind these people. There are two different pictures. These pictures were taken by people, by passing-bys, and were found on the internet. So if you typed Google Images Misrata, you would raise 17,000 items of all eras. What we tasked the people with, sorry, this goes automatic, I don't know why, was to answer a very simple question. Do you recognize this place? Can you tell us where it is? We give you a map, you put it on the map. The system, the algorithm, is able to group pictures, so you see this is the same building in two different instances. And once you say that this building is there, it gets placed on the map, the algorithm will go fetch the other picture of the same building and validates all of them. In another, this is actually quite interesting. What you see here is Tripoli Street in Misrata. Tripoli Street was also a death place. We have worked for weeks to identify where was this area in the city that if you cross through, you get shot by snipers. And so, but to do that, we used, again, here to my left, you can see, we used, again, people, citizens, and they identified all these areas. So if you know where this place is on the map, as a consequence, my analyst will know where this tank is, etc., and so on and so on. So basically, we have done a lot without actually moving from our chairs and using the power of people connected. We're doing the same for deforestation. This is actually quite new. The pilot has now ended a month and a half ago. It's called Forest Watchers. What we do is we basically harness the people and we give them tasks. So basically, all of a sudden, we have 17,000 colleagues instead of the 17 that are part of my team of analysts there. And what happens here is that they're simple tasks, but basically, if you give 5 minutes of your time to this, multiplied by thousands of people, you can never beat that in terms of professional, eyes looking at it. It would take you 100 years to do the job. And this, basically, using this trick, it takes 20 minutes. Behind that is not very simple. There are algorithms that we have developed with the University of California, Berkeley, that validate the information. The University of Geneva actually is involved in this, together with the CERN and the United Nations. So it's quite interesting, actually. It's very successful. So again, to continue and conclude with this, UNOSAT also had a partnership through our institute, UNITAR, which is the Institute of Training and Research here in Geneva, with Google. And this partnership is what? This partnership is to transfer to us, the UN, what citizens create and populate in Google Maps through a system that is known as Map Maker. Now, Map Maker is basically voluntary mapping or collaborative mapping. I'll give you one example for all. This is the UN official geographic database of not a small country, actually, because here, this is Dakar. This is what UN officials have at their disposal should a big emergency happen in Dakar. Basically, you can go straight, right, or left, and you know where the airport is. We called on Google. We've done this in 20 countries already. But basically, just to give an example, this is with volunteers. So basically, now you have to imagine how long would it take the UN to get from here to here, and I can tell you how long, forever. And how long it took us to do this, below 20 minutes. So this is, I think this speaks for itself. It's basically the power of collaboration without knowing that we're collaborating. So now you have to imagine if we know, and ignorance is, I think this is the interesting driver, that we are collaborating. I will show you this is my last slide. I will show you this because there are other things that we do at UNITAR, apart from UNOSAT. You may want to, I leave the presentation with Omar, but you will want to explore these things because these are all assets that we produce. The UN is very often, too often portrayed as an organization that is incredibly slow, that is fallacious, that is lazy, etc., etc. Let me tell you, it may be true, like for any big organization, but there are parts of the UN that are really edge. What you looked at today is basically unique. It exists. It exists virtually in each country, but those folks cannot come here and tell you the story. And we can. And so this is quite interesting. So this is our website if you want to visit it. We have a couple of applications also that you will find on that website. And you can follow also what we do on iPad. That's it. Thank you very much. Back to you.
Thank you, Francesco, for that great final presentation that really showcased the importance of geospatial information and satellite imagery, but also of the crowd and of collaborating for social change and for addressing the world's greatest challenges. So thank you, Francesco. And just before concluding tonight, we'd like to announce that this Wednesday, on the final evening of our event, we will be launching the End Ignorance platform online. So we'll be launching the beta site of End Ignorance on Wednesday. And so we'd just like to thank all the speakers tonight. So Michael from Al-Karama, Mr. Hap from the IFRC and NetHope, and Francesco from UNOSAT. And we really do look forward to collaborating in the future. And thank you for making this event possible, for attending. And finally, we'd like to invite you all to an incredible apéro that's been prepared for you. And yeah, so thank you very much. And please come again tomorrow.